And I'll make sure we're live. Right. Beepa, beepa, beepa. All right. Hafade todos hamzu bueno hudzong. Ay, a day. Hungin. Biba Hafade. Inano si Michael Luhan Bavakwa. Hungen. I'm very excited. Hey, Malala Gudzu. Para Magalahin Guaha. No, it's oh, I'm just April Fools. Oh, wait. Este si Frank the Crank Hatzok Guyadzu. Atra Saudzu. Oh, I'm so late. I should say that I'm running for governor with Frank the Crank and Cookie Alvarez. Dispensa Zu, but esta trasao estina ositan. Esta lamas. It's already week old. Hinexa. Ay, a day. Dispensa Zu. We are back with another episode of Fanachu. We survived Mes Chamorro. The Chamorro people have once again survived Chamorro month. Biba. As Chris Barnett reminded us, do not mess with the Chamorro people in Mes Chamorro. We have too many Chamorro obligations to go to. We have too much Denancy to Tsagi. We have too many weaving competitions and slinging competitions out there to attend to. Too much Chamorro karaoke competitions to compete in. Hungan. But I'm excited. We are in April now, and I'm very, very happy to have with me for our first guest in our post-Mes Chamorro sort of episode, Pedro Blas. Pedro S. Blas, a Biba Hafa de Pedro.
Off a day, off a day. Diyos
Hungan.
Masi, thanks for allowing me to be the first guest post Mes Chamorro. Lo, Nita Hasu, Mes Chamorro, kada mes ambi, second tomorrow.
Enigi, Hungan. And so Pedro Blas na, si Diyos Masi na un accepta esti na hukumbida para Fanachu. Pedro Blas is a musician, dandero in Zamora. He's one of the few musicians out there who's still recording and performing original Chamorro music. He's also an author. He's a writer. He published a Chamorro children's book with UOG Press last year. And he's also somebody who wants to be a leader and somebody who to help in our community. He's also running for public office in the village of Yigo as vice mayor. And so we're going to talk about all of these things. But first, I wanted to share a little bit, because for those of you on island who do things for around culture, language, one of the ways that people get honored is KUAM invites you to be on the Culture Club segment. And so, gofet special si Pedro, sa ma-interview si Pedro dos biyahe. Ay, atin na si Taotao, ma-interview zu un biyahe. Wow. Lokaling, doble mas Zamora si Pedro Kinuguaho.
Ambi, like na KOM, hey, he's too cultural.
Lo, hey, Biba Pedro. Okay, Nihita Egesti. Let's check out Pedro Blas's one of his Chamorro KOAM culture segments. And then we're gonna get into a little bit more of his creative expression, his music, but also sort of some of his activism, his politics, and so on.
Club brought to you by Hana, the freshest bottled water made in Guam.
Afade Guausi Pedro Blas. I currently work at the University of Guam Mark Library under the UOG Press. Jangin Taigutu gi Setsohu, Gaigutu Sampu gi Lansu, the Kamakanta Zugi Finasumo. I sing and write Chamorro music, and I think my passion for all of that originally just stems from growing up in a very Chamorro environment. I grew up with my dad, taking me to the ranch and all of that stuff and teaching me how to farm. And I guess over time too, I've started to develop that passion for myself without feeling like a force to have to do it or anything. But writing music and music in general, that's always just been a part of me, always loved Chamorro music. And when I finally learned how to speak Chamorro, I started to try writing music in Chamorro. And I think I wouldn't even have wanted to learn Chamorro had I not been brought up in the Lanchero environment, like the one that my dad had raised me in. I think my earliest memory was even messing around with the pigs, right, with my dad. So yeah, probably ever since I was a baby, I've been around animals, and my dad speaking to my grandparents in Chamorro and all of that. So very much submerged in the culture, always trying Chamorro food and all of that. So yeah, up to now, 24 years old, and like I said, instead of going to the ranch and seeing that as like a chore or anything like that, I've eventually developed the passion to just do it recreationally. As far as singing Chamorro music, that as well, it gives you pride to be Chamorro in general. No matter which island in the Marianas you're from, because we grow up listening to Chamorro music and the classics, JD Crutch, KC, and all of that, and to be able to write music and kind of have the ear of the newer generation, and just to throw a little more genres into the mix of what Chamorro music is, man, it's incredible too, to know that you can do cool stuff like that, and people don't even know Chamorro but like a certain sound of music, they'll attach to it. To be a Lanchero, I think definitely anybody can do it, and the only thing that it starts with is the person themselves. No matter what your limits are, no access to land or anything, I believe that if you have that certain drive in you, something will make you do something to somewhat coincide with what it is to be a Lanchero, right? Writing Chamorro music, that's something that will take a lot more time and effort, because you have to learn the whole language, and it doesn't only stem from Chamorro music. You got to know how to incorporate, I guess, other styles of music, and then your own creativity into it too. So once you develop that, certain creativity for the type of music you want to sing, and you learn the Chamorro language, man, it kind of just meshes together. So I guess you just have to work into, learning the language. And if you can already speak Chamorro, I think, man, you can write Chamorro songs easy, So I think that for the next generation, or this current generation, to have that idea that, are we doing enough, shouldn't even be a question to us. I believe that there's never enough culture to practice. Because I think that when we say that, okay, we're doing enough, that stops us from being motivated to want to learn more. And so I think that we can definitely do more as far as cultural practices. However, at the same time, I believe that to each Chamorro who does even just a little bit of cultural stuff in their life, if that's enough to them, then I think ultimately that should be what matters, because I think we just want our people to be content, with themselves. And once you start to be content with yourself, then before you know it, you don't think of practicing your culture to be a struggle, or am I doing enough of it, because we just end up doing it,
Culture Club, brought to you by Hanum.
All right, Biba. Yate. Okay, so nihita diskuti hungan sa and si Jus Masi esta gua mega na Taotao gihalami chat ilagniniha.
Diba?
Vote for Pedro. Vote for Pedro. Hungan.
Diyos masi.
Hungan. And so nita diskuti esti. So, as we both know, Team Mega naman hoben na Taotao gipago na champu. Not as many younger people today are feeling the call to create and record, original Chamorro music. Mega naman hoben zaniha, magofsheshenti esti Flora Bazaquan, Johnny Sablan, magof guaidza, adzuna klasen kanta, but they're not feeling, whether because they magof tungu lenguaje, or they, maybe gof man mamala, who knows. And so as somebody, who comes from that generation, what inspired you to record, to put yourself out there and to write and create music in the Chamorro language?
Yeah, so I think with writing Chamorro music, I kind of had the upper hand in that practice, just because I was always interested in writing music as a child. Man, I told when I go to like these elementary schools, right, and I do musical presentations, I don't just go up and sing to them. You know, I talk to them about my journey with writing music. And I told them as far back as I can remember, I'd say 4 years old, man, I wrote my first song. It wasn't the best song, you know, but it was like along the lines of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Eh? So I always liked that idea. Then my dad's sister, Manti Nenet, you know, she taught me how to play the ukulele. And, you know, so I was really submerged in music in my family through her, then hearing the stories of my late grandfather, who was in a band with his own brothers, you know, they're singing Chamorro music. I guess at the time they didn't consider it as Cantan Chamarita, but, you know, they would do the practice of just singing Chamorro to the tune of a popular English song, you know. So all those things, you know, they kind of were like the pillars for me wanting to write music. So, of course, you know, I started it writing in English and stuff. I didn't really finish one whole song until up until the passing of my mother. So when I was about 9 years old, and see, so prior to that, so I lost my grandmother in 2005 on my father's side, right, my nonna. So she passed away in 2005, and then my mother in 2006. So back in 2005, the same auntie, my auntie Nene, she wrote a song for my nonna, and she, you know, she let my godbrother play the guitar for the song, and she shared it with the family. You know, we all loved it, man. I loved it too. She even put me on the track. You know, it was just she recorded it on the laptop. It was acoustic, but man, that was my first like, whoa, I'm on a song. You know, and this song is for my nonna. And wow, man, it's a really hard time, but we were able to express that in this song. You know, the song ended up being 5 to 6 minutes, you know, but that's just how much we love the lady, you know. There's not enough words to use in the song to express how much we loved her and how much we're gonna miss her. So, you know, when I lost my mom, I, you know, 9 years old, man. What is a 9-year-old to do with that built-in pain and all of that, you know, whatever. I had to smile still, you know, I was still a little boy. So, you know, I still try to live my life, but still, like, I couldn't express this sorrow, you know. Yeah, me, my dad, and my sister, we shared the same sentiments, but, you know, different age gap, man. And I still felt like, man, I can't relate to my cousins. I can't relate to my friends because they don't know what I'm feeling. So not long after she passed away, man, I wrote my first song for my mother. I don't remember the words, but, you know, it was one of those things where it felt good. You know, it was me expressing how much I miss my mom. And thereafter, you know, I wrote numerous ones for her. And that was just my first opportunity putting pen to paper, right? And then, you know, we fast forward to like middle school. So 6th grade, you know, I was hanging out a lot with the boys from, I'm sure you guys know them, Mixed Plate, man, those Samoan boys. Those are my Usos, man. Lasa Fitiausi, his brother Leah. And then we had another Chalu, Chris. You know, we were always hanging out, always playing music, right? And that got me into like playing all the time. You know, I'll bring the guitar to school. You know, we just had fun with it. And then fast forward again to high school. You know, in high school, man, shoot, I think I can remember maybe from 6th grade up until high school. If anyone can remember Tanya Manabusan. Tanya Manabusan was bago na tempo, senior na aging viral. Low. I guess na tempo siyempre viral si Tanya Manabusan, man. She was on YouTube. Everybody knew her. Nobody knew she's from Guam because that's how good, you know, she was. The original music she was putting
Oh
out.
man, Hunggan, Huhasuan na. Wow, Hunggan.
Yeah, dude. You know, and I like to say, man, if Tanya Manabusan came out with stuff today, oh man, she'd be popping too. So I took that as inspiration, you know. I was like, man, I want to be like that, dude, you know. And sadly, you know, that time never came for me in my adolescent years, right? But I like that. I like the idea of young people on Guam writing their own music, and maybe not to go and get, you know, Justin Bieber star power, you know, but to at least be known in your community as a young Chamorro artist, not just singing Chamorro, but you're Chamorro and you're writing your own music that everybody's listening to. So yeah, in high school, you know, I hopped on that trend, you know, and I did it a lot. I would write may gain kantan ko na dyan ay pwede from Malawan lo tawag from Malawan gili na lahu na lo hoping na that they will hear me. So I was doing a lot of that, just writing songs. And even with Chamorro music, I always say the easiest thing to write about is Gwinainza, right? Because you know, Hagu, Lina, Lahu, Corazon, Hui, they all rhyme, right? So I was, doing a lot of those songwritings in high school. And man, I got over that fear factor of putting it online, early on. Just put it on Facebook, tag all my friends, put it on YouTube, share it back on Facebook. I put it on Facebook, but I'll share the link on YouTube as well, so you can just keep it going. So we did that throughout high school. And then man, I remember, so right after high school, the same year I enrolled at the university. And I remember saying, man, I'm not gonna tell anybody that I sing or I write songs, right? Mamala too. There's plenty people from all over the island here, from public school, private school, and all of that. So it's like, man, was mamala to Pago. So it was different when I was writing in high school and middle school. These are all my cellos, man. This is all Jigo. I'm comfortable with them. A lot of these guys I've seen since I was a kid, so I was comfortable. But getting into college, I remember being so mamala and not wanting to sing or do anything. Lo, hey man, I'll give you the props. It wasn't long before I took CM 102 in 2016, and I'm sure you remember, man. Your final assignment for our class was either write a Chamorro poem or a Chamorro song. And hey man, I could have taken the easy way out, and I could have written a poem. Lo, I'm not the best poem writer. I like a little instrumental behind the poem. So I say, hey man, Busta, I'm gonna write a Chamorro song for this, and Mega Latsi, like it wasn't the best grammatically articulated song. Lo, it was a verse, a chorus, a verse, and chorus, right? So that was my very first Chamorro song, Parahagu. And man, from there just took off, kept progressing in the language. Made Chamorro my major. 1 year into the university, I changed my major over to Chamorro studies. And man, I dedicated the next 5-6 years to just learning the language and putting it into music. And then without even trying, man, and that's why I think is like, it's so poetic. Huh? I'm not a good poem writer. This was so poetic, was that I really tried to be this person in high school and middle school and get out there, get out there. I'm young, do it while you're young. But it didn't work out like that. But when I started doing some more music just for fun, that's when, the people at KUAM, the connections I've made, they've asked me to come out and perform. Was able to join the band Malik Motna with, my cellos, and, just all these opportunities came once I submerged myself in the Chamorro language and started utilizing that for my Chamorro music writing.
No, dispensa sa. Zahunay, we've got a few questions coming in, but I wanted to share real quick.
Oh, shoot.
So Hungan, estaba estudiante ko si Pedro no, para nos cuantos na class. And there's different types of, you get different types of students, some of whom are like they're hungry and they're eager, but they feel like they don't have a lot. They're looking for their roots, but then you get some that are just like, like Taiguano gives a hogo. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. And no,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it. And that was Zahuano. I like that. But
Yeah.
Tibe Malefanai, I'll never forget Izomu project para CM 340. Anan Shuhunai. And then
Yeah.
which eventually became, of course, and because we have a question about if you're gonna ever publish some more children's books. And so I wanted to share the video, which eventually became a children's book too. And so let's set up the
one that started it all. Yeah.
Okay. So if you can, real quick, why don't you set up the music video here, and then I'll share it with everyone. And then I'll also put the link into the chat so where people can buy the book from UOG Press. But how did this song come about? Anunshuhu.
Okay, man, to be brutally honest, I remember this was another one of your assignments in which we had to create, a media project, right? I believe it was. So I already knew I was gonna write a song. I'll write a song, but I really didn't know what to write about. You know, I was at a what they call a writer's block, né? So I remember, man, it was the weekend right before that project was due, you know, and I'll be real, all I had was a iPhone 6 and headphones from Island Pantry down here in Yigo with a microphone, and I wrote that song line for line as right after I made the instrumental. So I believe the first words, right, were "Tiu tungo afa na pagunadiya," right? I was like, oh wow, that's nice. Bulalala na problema siya. And I was like, okay, boom, let's talk about, or let's sing about keeping our culture alive, or you know, continuing to practice what we got, make do with what we have. So did, you know, wrote the song, made the song a whole track, right? And then you know, we were able to put this video together. This little boy right here, man, I've been approached by some people, and you know, say, hey man, I like that music video. You had your son in that video, huh? I said, whoa. I tila you. One of my good friends, Victoria, that's her boy. Victoria Diaz, yeah. So she said, yeah, dude, use my son, dude, or whatever. So I said, yeah, let's do it like that. So it, you know, it gives off this impression of, you know, we can easily pass down what we do know to the next generation, and that will be the stepping stones for them to, you never know, doing greater things in the future. They can look back on this, you know, with the power of the internet, right? They can look back on this and say, whoa, that was me when I was a baby. And maybe they'll start, you know, writing music someday, or pasturing the cow, or driving a low rider. You never know, man. So that's how this music video was created. It was real, you know, real chalu of me. I just wanted to do it for the class, but then, man, people liked it. And fast forward, how many years later, man, we got it on Spotify. We got a book out of it. So, yeah, man, again, go fagre siya, senyor, sa Hogui Resort, chalo.
Ungof comprended that ungof usa y tareja. You totally understood, and you used the assignment properly. That was my goal in that class was Chamorro Media. Use this to do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
So just if you want to make a book, use this, because Chamorros need media. So whatever it is. And so no. Nita Ega, let's watch this.
Disclaimer before you play it. Siyempre, latsi finohog is tinatuhon, okay? I know I was still developing the language since then, and that wasn't the proper way. We asked permission to walk in the jungle, but was trying to make it easy for the kid. We'll just say that.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Sidus Masi.
Zanguala. Despensa sa malago nalii itano mo. Siduos maasi. Sure. Tihu tungo hafana paguna diha, bulalala na problema siha, malam magi talu fanuli unsida, zabay fangwantus nu hagu, tapada bahu faisen haha fara samu, kawan tungo haji haudan hafa kustum bremu, kasangin tiun tungo estinai problemamu. La por favor, ekongo para guaho. Por favor, manyelu. Unga sengon nidu. Esta matay ko turota. Sa ti magalan ng nahinasomo. Por favor, manyelu. Famambaba imatomidu. Anman papaham junui kotoran sa moro. Pas paman nagutoro tempo.
Cada dia fampatica Costumbre tan finota Masaya hafa bidamu mga malefa Ginin monu hagen hafa ihaleta Kan hono gi itasi Dari halam tonin loqui Como in sogi esti Sempre veo na tungo hafa i costumbre Por favor manyeluhu Unga sangoni du Esta matay ko turota Sa timagalan ng nahinason mo Por favor manyeluhu Famambaba imatomi du Anman papa hamzunu ikoturan sa moro Pas faman ay gutoruru itempo Por favor manyeluhu Unga sangoni du Esta matay ikoturota Sa timagalan ng nahinason mo Por favor manyeluhu Famambaba imatomi du Anman papa hamzunu ikoturan sa moro Pas faman ay gutoruru itempo
Okay, pues. All right. So Taimano, Naina, ma accepta esti para un leblo. And so from this, as you said, from a project that you did for a class, eventually to Spotify, but then also then eventually it becomes a book that UOG Press published last year with a series on Chamorro, with other Chamorro songs. And so what was that process like? Because Gaigisi Cabrini Cruz, Umeega Estiza, Hafafaisen, do you have any plans to publish any other children's books?
First off, Cabrini, happy belated birthday. Like, yeah, man. So when I worked at UOG Press, so I was there for the last 2 years, right? And initially, I think, and I was like, oh yeah, man, yeah, I'm down for that. Shoot, and to me, I think why I was so willing to do it too was because, like I said, a lot of the presentations that I was doing during Mes Chamorro was for a lot of elementary schools. Then I had the wonderful opportunity to teach at the Chief Farao Academy, 2 separate occasions. And there was just something, about exposing the children to the culture and to the language, man, that it's just so fulfilling. And yeah, so I was approached by Lola Liangguero to use that particular song for a book. And then I figured, yeah, the message is a good one. It's real encouraging. The music video has a child in it. Yeah, why not make it a children's book, right? And then it went through the process of grammatical like edit something. They went through the editorial process.
They reviewed, plus reviewed, edit,
yeah. So and then that's what I tell people too, because I've had some kids, the students at MU Lujan actually were able to use the book for the Inadigan Fino Chamorro, man, and that was, oh man, such an honor. So shout out to Senora Loretta Cruz for utilizing my book for that. So I had one of the students who read the book there. I said, how come the song and the books, tipureo na dos. It was elekunay, and humala mesina kanta gihalo mi letlu. There has to, it comes with its changes, you can't, the thing with music and with books, you can't necessarily just put a song in a book and call it a book, right? It has to have a sense of, storytelling. And, I believe that that's what the intention was for the book. And then, hey, man, I was all for it. Say, hey, commission, make all the edits you need to. Let's just get this book up. So the song went from an anshuhu to Ian Anshoku. the Nancy spelling too. I mean, so yeah, did what I had to do, and then it was because of the production of this book that I professionally recorded the song with my cello Ryan Shook, and we were able to get it on Spotify around the same time the book came out, man. So it all worked out well, and yeah, you can buy this on UOGpress.com. I believe there's still copies at bestsellers both at the mall and GPO. And yeah, support the two fans, support the fan mag-uun.
Biba. No, go za huesti. Kon hasu hadzi I artist Michaela San
Michaela
Nicolas.
Sinek, Tungan, Taotao
Hungan,
Yigo.
so Hungan, what was it like seeing your music, your ideas put into, in visual form like this,
Man, I tell you, it was surreal, and I wish I could have met Michaela personally to thank her big time, man. She just, even with the first few drafts, man, I was like, put that in the book, dude, Basta, you don't need to change it. I loved it. And the only thing that I wanted to make sure of was, hey man, can you just put a picture of my cow in there? And sure enough, the cow wasn't identical to my cow, but I like to say it was a combination of all three of the cows that I have, so it looks pretty good. So yeah, it was just it was amazing, man, to see it come to life, and then to actually so I was the distribution manager at the time, right, at UOG Press. So to receive the pallets of this book, it was like I was looking at gold. I mean, it was like, whoa, this is all me, man. Holy cow! I unloaded that, and put it in the storage. Took 20 boxes to the office. I mean, I need to get this out. So it was a cool experience, and I like to say too, never in my life did I think that I'd be a published author, right? It's sure it was a book that was written based off of the song that I had written, but still, man, to see me in a children's book, let alone, it's amazing, man.
Oh, Biba, and for those of you watching online, I put into the chat, into the comments, the link where you can find Pedro's book on the UOG Press website. Por favor, support the UOG Press, support the Pedro and that book is part of a series where it's part of a series of great Chamorro kids books that are based on songs, iconic songs or chants. And so, man, onra para ho ganay na manasaunaw how giadzo na grupo. So there's one from, Inafresi, right? And then
Johnny Sablon.
Again, Mike Laguarnia.
Yeah, Mike Laguarnia, man, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Ventura, man, all amazing people. And to be included in that, man, I was like, wow, dude. Just last year, I thought I was just a regular old cello, man, but I get to share this honor with, these great people, man. So, yeah, man, sa magov too, sa magov ko to sonon in that project.
No, but it's important though, because we got to show that next generation, right? And because I know that sometimes you've talked about your sound is different, your style is different. Lo eno I presisunya na is that it should be different, right? Because some people tell me, they say, oh, my Chamorro was so different than my grandparents. And it's like, diputsita guano na. It's gotta be. You didn't live the same life as your grandparents. You didn't grow up hearing the Chamorro the same way they did. You didn't grow up on the ranch the way they did. You didn't experience the Japanese occupation they did. You're gonna sound different than your grandparents.
So we can continue and not to take away from the classics. And I always say, there's a good year for the class, especially now. Big ups to Dan and Marianas, right? They continue to bring back these famous artists from back in the day and allow them to promote themselves on their platform. So we see that, and there is an audience for that sound still. But then I've also heard from other people, they don't like the old school sound, or there's the ones who are real tatsa, and they don't like the sound of the record player in the background and the tape and everything, right? But that's our foundation, and just like we've been taught, man, the only way for the language and for the culture to progress is if we progress with it and we allow it to progress with us, So same thing goes with the music. That and then who you can hear the 808s in the back, the boom, the boom, boom, right? So it was just real cool, real bob your head, real play that in the lowrider,
Again, but I bet for some of for some of the purists out there, I bet your Nana would have really liked the auto tune and the dubstep if they had it before the war.
Oh yeah.
I bet she would have rocked that at the Lesotho in 1941.
Oh
Hunggan,
boy,
I
ito yung Justina na Paili Justina kanta. Stack
Ambos
sino ulo.
Paris, boy,
Ampus Paili.
mawala niya, gwagwafi, talaga, hu, 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 pikakakaka. But, oh, anyway, okay, dispenses because we've got a question now. Ngaya needs
Okay.
the fundraiser. So let's move on now to
Okay.
so you are running. So we go from your musical interests, your literary interests, and so you are also running for political office, though. And
Hanggang.
so let's get into this though. So tell us more about sort of what are you running for and why are you running for it?
So yeah, for those who still, because there's still people out there who don't know of me and don't know what my intentions are here. But again, I'm Pedro Blas. I'm running for the office of Jigo Vice Mayor. Not mayor, okay, yeah, man. Dale uli Latinya gialong ni Guampi diyan. I'm a published aku oh tumuli esti donya packet Jigo Mayor. Hey, whoa, not the squash, man. So running for Jigo Vice Mayor, and Honggan it's what I tell everybody though is there's no political agenda in this in this interest that I have. There's no desire for me to want to hold a hierarchy in our village. What did motivate me to run this time around was that we all saw the typhoon, and I don't want to say that I'm only going to be the vice mayor because I want to be prepared for the next typhoon. No, we can see the disparity in our people, the lack of security, the lack of reassurance in our people. No ability for them to depend on the mayor's office, and I think that just stems from a long line of comfort. Esta pasada man 12 años, dati tinilike Pareho es sinasakyan kini 8 sakyan, So I saw it, and to me, I felt there's like 3 things you can do, right? We can sit and we can complain, and I was one of those. We can sit and we can complain. The second thing is we can just take it and run with what we're given. Or the third is, man, someone steps up and tries to do what the community wants our leaders to do, and that's to help and be public servants. I think we lost that touch of public service, man. I think a lot of what we see nowadays is really political agendas, and man, I just want to take that all back, man, and focus on, as you can see, man, we're prioritizing Jigo again, but I want the people of Jigo to feel like they have leaders that love the village just as much as them. No more excuses to why this, why that. Yes, there's gonna be times when we have to give excuses. Before the excuses, let's go find out how we can help. And man, I think the first step that I need to take, is to earn the support of the people, and to gain the trust to allow me to enter the office and find out how we can actually tackle these concerns from the community. And this all goes back to just my experience with speaking with the youth, not only through my Mestre Moral presentations, but through working at UOG Press. I was able to facilitate workshops with the after school programs, and even the some of the youth that were housed through the Department of Youth Affairs, man. And I think all it takes, is that immersion of the youth into the community as a starting point for us to see that these guys are going to be our future. And what's their example in this village, to make it better, to deter from crime, to deter from illegal dumping, and all of that. So it started with that, and here we are now, man. And I said, let's do it. Pues gagi pago.
No, Sidus Masi, I think yeah, no, and thank you. I mean, thank you so much. I think it's important for you to clarify, and what I love about this is that this is not, this is serving the community. It's not and it's not partisan. It's not even particularly political. It's more just about sort of the people, helping the people.
Yeah.
And I think that as the vice mayor, it's really at that level. It's just
Oh
about
yeah.
help.
Yeah, it's just about, and it's about helping too, whoever maybe the mayor, within this coming election, whether it be the incumbent, whether it be um a new person. But yeah, so here we're looking at my Instagram page for the campaign. I'm still slow, but don't worry, daman po file.
No, but it's good though. It's good to get yourself out there to be accessible. And I like what you mentioned though in terms of how your work, speaking to the youth, connecting to the youth though, because that's the population which everyone talks about. They say that they're thinking of them, but what does your average politician really know about what young people are thinking or what they're caring about? I mean, probably very little. And so but and so I think it's important, you as in even it was interesting hearing that your work, through UOG Press or, as at Harao, working with small kids and then thinking about, the future that they're going to be coming into in just a few years when they're in high school, when they graduate. And that's, it's different. And so yeah, if you'll check out Pedro's Instagram, you can see he's got information here on, his policies, what he's proposing. He's also got a few videos here. Uh oh, Festini, is this your
Uh, First official mayor's office sign up in this village.
Again? And so you chose for your sort of your theme or your slogan, para Hami, Taotao Yigo, but then you also translated that into a few different
Sure.
languages.
Yeah. Well, got dressed na. Para Hami, Taotao Yigo. Para sa mga tao ng Jigo, for all my Filipino chalus up in this village, and simply put, for us, the people of Jigo. Man, I wish I could have added the Krishayan translation, the Panapayan, the Chukis, the Yapis, because man, that's a big demographic up here too, and I'm good with all of them, and I wish I could fit that all on the sign. But one thing I learned from I believe one of your 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 blogs was to not have too much going on.
Well, that's true. That's true. You get too much going on and then yeah, but I like that choice of having the three languages. It's it's I think it's because we've as somebody who's taught Chamorro, who's you there's power to that, to not just
Yeah.
having it in English, but having it in Chamorro, but then also giving respect to the Filipino community, which is also very large on the island. And
Yeah,
so
it's the Filipino community too, very large up here in Jigo, and I'm happy to have sat down with them too. And one of my worries too, during this campaigning process was that I wouldn't gain the acceptance of them, just because I'm this young Chamorro guy. What good can I do for them? But I've sat with them, I spoke with them, and we all see the same things though. This village unites us. At the end of the day, we all call this village home. And the problems that they see is the same problems I've seen, the same problems that everybody else has seen. And it's all a matter of coming together as a community and helping each other. Helping each other make it better, and to bring the pride, man, back into the village.
no, Biba. And so if you're on Instagram, follow Pedro. He's got some great videos here of the outreach he's already been doing, cleanups, school presentations and visits. And if you have any questions, reach out to him. But yeah, Hungan Mauliki Swetemagi SD. This is it's good to see you getting into the community in this way. And so here you are at DL Paris, Biba.
basta matayin kulturata sa timagalan na hinaso.
Woo. Ooh, okay, so we've got we've got a quick question, and then we're going to move to your video from Mighty Island. So as a young candidate, how do you intend to make up for the lack of experience within a political position and a demanding position? So how do you think you're gonna how can you make up for the lack of experience being somebody who's younger than a lot of the other potential candidates out there?
That's a great question, and man, I'll tell you what, that's one of the first questions that I asked myself prior to coming up with this decision. Okay, so let me just start off by saying this, and I want to just send a reminder out there that I by no means my platform is not my legacy. Okay, but I'll tell you what planted the seed to this. Okay, so I guess in the 60s, my late grandfather, Juan Pedro Blas, was the commissioner. Y 25 años. 25 years old, this man led the village. Después, sa Lunya, my uncle David Guerrero Blas. He was also a commissioner in his 30s. Pues en Matay, si Uncle David, sa Lunya, Taotao, my uncle John, 25 years old as well. And this is my stepping stones. 2 different generations, and here's my generation, right? In no way, shape, or form was I would say, was I ready at 25 years old to do the kind of work that those great men did. But that was the seed that was planted throughout my whole life. That's all I've known, was that these people served this village, this beautiful village. And the politics at the time was different for sure. The community was different, but I grew up in this community in Jigo. Okay, I'm not 25, low 27 sinasakin. So there's 2 extra years that I have on them, but they were able to lead this village at 25. And again, I'm not saying that I'm like them, but this was the seed planted, saying that okay, you can be in your middle 20s, but that doesn't take away from the desire to serve your people. And one of the things that I continuously tell everybody is that Hungan, I didn't serve 20 years in the government. I'm not retired, and that's a lot of what we see. Retirees and people who have worked long in the government of Guam. I didn't serve 20 years in the private sector. I'm not a social security recipient. But for over 20 years, man, I've been raised to put others before myself. Since my mother got sick, imagine 7 years old and not even thinking about, can I play game today? Can I go outside and hang out with whoever? 7 years old, I had to make sure that my mom was taken care of. If my mom had to go to chemotherapy, I could make sure that I cooked rice and some stapao for me and my sister in the event that my dad had to come home late from work. Putting others again before myself. My mother passed away. My father had to carry the burden of raising 2 children on his own. So of course, without him even having to ask me, I felt, okay, what can I do to help this man? And then later on down the line, learning that my sister has autism, and then that being another factor in my life, knowing that she's going to be treated differently, and this is 2 men or two boys that have to raise a female. This is not easy stuff. Not everybody sees these hardships, but what I knew was that I need to do whatever I can to the best of my abilities to help smooth this process out. So it starts like that, childhood. And then, we don't even need to get into, but, I'll just say it. It's just the years of auntie down the road, who needs assistance at her house when the water goes out. We need to get water. Can you help us get water? Hey, no problem. 3 o'clock in the morning, one of my uncles falling down, needs to get picked up. Call Pedro. Pedro goes down there and picks him up. So-and-so needs a ride to Masaya Mono. I'll give them a ride. The homeless that are out here panhandling, hey man, even if it's my last dollar, we'll give it to them. Just those qualities, man, were instilled in me from a very young age. And the ability to consider what other people are going through, because we don't know. Same thing with me. People thought I was a real happy-go-lucky kid. not knowing what I went through at the house, and always giving people the benefit of the doubt, basically. And not to say that that's going to make up for my lack of political experience, but then again, this goes back to what I said earlier. Not running for no political agenda. Hunggan, it's not totu politiko na klase. This is the political field. You have to play politics to, get answers sometimes and stuff like that. But I'm here to say, why does that have to be it? Why do I have to be a politician to serve the people of Yigo? Ultimately, it comes down to giving them the answers, giving them service, and being accessible. And that's one of my platforms too, man, is wanting to bridge that gap between the community and the village leaders, because time and time again, I'd say almost no matter what village you go to, there's going to be a time when you call, and I'll just talk from experience though, you call and you can't get a hold of somebody to come assist you with whatever maybe you need, cascao on the road. I need to know if my power is going to come back on, whatever that may be. We call, we get backed up. Sometimes their projects last into the following year with no follow-up, with no call back to say, hey man, we're going to take care of you. And I just want to be that point of contact. I want to be the reassurance that the people have, as far as they're going to call in, and if the office don't answer, the vice mayor is going to answer his phone though, while all the boys are cutting grass, the vice mayor can still come check us out and see what problems we have. Whether the answer is what you like or what you don't like, the fact of the matter is that I'm going to show up. Hey man, and we're in Yigo. You can't tell me it's going to take 20 minutes to get down there. Everything's 5 minutes away from everybody, right? So, I have no problem with doing that. I've worked on the farm my whole life too, man. This brown dude is just brown from the sun too. I know how to put in that work. I know how to serve the people. I can be outside bustling the grass the same way as the maintenance boys can. And if it's the extra helping hand that we're going to need, then that's what I want to be, the extra helping hand, and whatever ideas the mayor or the incumbent mayor, whoever it may be, has, I want to be able to help support them and, to create a team, man, that, the people can trust, Pues, malago din po sa ganito ni Taotao, na ju fan ng tansa. Esta tuwa na hoben jo. Sto tuwa lo the Hoban man in a Sokutan Kudason ho. Kutungo mani na we need help. And like I said, we can sit and complain, we can sit and deal with it, or we can stand up and do something about it. And I encourage everybody to utilize their right to vote. I encourage everybody who hasn't picked up a packet for Yigo Vice Mayor to pick up the packet. Give our people the opportunity to choose somebody. For the incumbent, I encourage him to pick up his packet as well and try to run it again. See what we can do better. I'm not doing this just for me. I just want to give the people an opportunity to see that help is on the way, man, and change is coming. Whether it be good, whether it be bad, give us the chance to do that. Utilize your right to vote, and support the Taotao Yigo, support the Yigo, prioritize Yigo.
Sidus Masi. No, Sidus Masi. I think Gininenoy in the Petmunai, I think one of the things that I like though is, we get used to we get used to politicians who just kind of maprometi how todo nai, maprometi how todo do lo hafa mismo nai mo fresi how. What do they really offer you at the end of the day?
Tipo prometi,
Yeah,
the only thing
but hagu mamalaw how you're just basically like, and that's ganyaku. And no, I want somebody who is really gonna. I would prefer somebody who is basically saying like, I'm just here to help. I'm here to help the community. I'm not gonna promise you everything just to make you vote for me. And so I know magahit na tautaw na masango kudzun no. That's real people. That's not the political games that we're so used to. So that's why, Paraguahu who agradeci how I then who agradeci I appreciate the way that you are approaching this. Because I think so many people are used to the usual way where somebody says, we're gonna pave everything, we're all gonna do this, we're all gonna do that, and no timagayat. They don't really they can't really follow through. Wouldn't we rather just have somebody
it seems like the real game of being in the office is campaigning to get in there, and Sure, man. Campaigning is fun and all. No, that's the thing, I cannot promise that the road in Chalanguaca is gonna get paved, or I'm gonna give you Cuscao every single day. But and then there's also, I've heard plenty of feedback, and I'm sure you as well. You're not even a politician, but there's people out here who they just don't agree with you. They have something to say, and we just have to take it. So I'm sure you understand that. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're not out here to make the promises, and then like what I was gonna get to is that people can be out here and say, well, if you want to volunteer for your community so much, why don't you just do volunteer work? Hunggan, sinya. Lo, what do volunteers do when they go home? When they're done volunteering in the day, man, they have the time to rest. And what I'm saying is that I understand that this job is 24/7, and I'm not gonna move on to the next village next week or do a different program next month. No matter what, if you allow me to get in there, un term at 4 años. That's 4 consistent years of knowing that your vice mayor is going to be in the office, going to be at work for the people of Jigo, and uh, then before we get into any more discussion of procurement and all of that and financing, allow me the chance to get in there and see what we're working with. And the only thing I don't promise, but what I know will happen if allowed the opportunity to get into the office is to look at what we're working with. If there's any mistakes that were happening over the last few years that maybe we can change or try to change. I'm not going to get in there and then build another basketball court right away. I'm just smart enough to know it don't work like that. But yeah, so again, just I would love to ask the community to give me a chance to prove myself to you. And amen, and Latin Mizu, which I hope it's not. Amen, just hang in there for 4 years and then vote another guy in, man. But ultimately, I hope that I can prove to you through my service, man, that I want to do this for us, not just for me, not just for my family, but para Taotao Yigo na para Hami, un Yigo para Hami, para Taotao.
Oh, hunggan. Well, mega natapos sa mapapatiaw guesting episode. We've got more than 60 people watching right now.
Diba?
And so this is a very good Fanachu episode. So mega natapos maiga. And so I want to end it now. We've got a great comment right now from Brianna Hafade Mali. She says, when younger people run for any position in office, it means to brace yourself for waves of positive change and innovative progress. As we shift from the old paradigm and into new earth, we will be experiencing higher vibrational frequencies collectively. This is what Guahan needs, a cleanse, shift in paradigm, and rebirth. Again, she's basically saying that this is a paradigm shift. This is, with people like with people like you standing up and getting ready to serve, it's a shift. And I can, I hear it because it's a different mentality, because people, even in just the way you're talking now, it's just kind of like it's wanting to give something for the island, and it's an evolution of the politics.
Again, like how I was saying, there's no political agenda. It just goes to say that I'm running for the vice mayor. That's with no there's no hierarchy in that, man. You're the vice mayor. You're there to help the mayor, to help the people. And in no way, shape, or form do I want to run for senator one day and have the whole island blame me for, no money or no laws being passed. And in no way, shape, or form do I want to run for the governor. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love this village, regardless of the changes that have happened over the years. Watching it go from beautiful to, what we have now, man. Many abandoned cars and stray dogs and trash. And yeah, I love my village so much, and I would hate to see it continue to deteriorate the way that it has, man. And blame it on money when, hey, man, a lot of people got trucks and trailers, man. You can load the trash up, take the rubbish, man. Simple as that. Sure, it's a lot of hard work, and I'm not saying that it's going to be easy once I walk in and the wave is going to be a smooth one. No, the energy is there. Like I said, I'm not a retiree or any of that, so I have no excuse about a bad back or a bad knees or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts medical, man. Hopefully. Yeah, just, I have the energy and the desire and the drive, man, to do this. Not just for me, like I said, not just for the family, but for the people, man.
Iba. And we're gonna end this episode with actually some more of your music. We're gonna end it with the video Sangani Zunai from Independent Wuhan and Mighty Island. And so for those of you who are watching, put some more comments of support or for Pedro. Remember, if you have relatives who live in Yigo, let them know about his campaign prioritizing Yigo. And just in general, get more involved in the political process. I mean, the mayors are on the ground in the community. And we're talking about democracies in the states and Trump and Biden and all that stuff. But look here on Guam. Think about how important it is at the village level. Who represents your village? Do they represent your community? Does your mayor or your vice mayor just think like they're entitled to the job because they've been there? Or are they really serving? These are the types of questions your village, your families, that they need to get into. And so I appreciate Pedro for bringing this up. But all right, we're gonna check out your video now. But I love this. Sanani Zui a day. All right,
I didn't start writing Chamorro music until maybe 2016. Over time, as I started progressing within the language, I feel like writing music in Chamorro didn't really become like a grammatical thing for me. Eventually, it became more of like hey, if it sounds nice and this is our language being perpetuated through music in a fun way, it'll all work out in the end. What we know to be Chamorro music is a bunch of different genres thrown into the mix, right, and translated into Chamorro. Through the kind of style of music that I write, it becomes more of like appealing to the current era of Chamorros and indigenous peoples on Guam. That helps for the whole movement in general, because you get more people who are prideful. Even though they don't know Chamorro, they can say, hey, I listened to this Chamorro song or this Chamorro band or this Chamorro artist. I believe independence allows us to voice an opinion in ways that, colonization silenced us. It doesn't necessarily mean we want to be our own people and just shoo everyone away. I don't believe that that's what independence entails. I believe that independence will allow us to be able to make decisions based off of what we feel is important for our people. In my short 25 years on this earth, I feel like I've been through a lot and I've seen a lot, so I just draw from all of those.
Estimalago Noi de um momento consegui sem comento se bogo Não guama mola cara rua tenagi matomu Alguna neni supermodel E Taotao bukan na Coca-Cola bottle Ay, nani fane kungu Kesti hongu mas bonita Tamorita guau sweaty Ay, hipina desi If you ever left me Sa total vina lohu Anten hogu neni Esti kentomu Utumugi esti para hogu Sangoni du Ginzamu Sangoni du Ginzamu Tugi esti canta para hogu Sangoni du Esti cantamu Tacoma Tavan paseo todo isla Tatana las deja todo y gasolina Tati didu para ila tokugi sabona Nabokai manu kaningonga Tanoi sakoti para toku boka Para hogu sempre boli Hajusa sumasaga hogini ki ikura sonu Pusangin tangi jo mungatari na somu Sagai ki tunai net ni ki ikura sonmu Esti kentomu Utumu gi esti para hogu Sengon itu Jamu Sengoni tu Tengin jamu Tugi esti canta para ogu Sengoni tu Esti cantamu Begitu esti ninalong Esti na jalan sampai nenggok togo Lopa da penangan ninu hogo Aga sunan dengan nasta pogo Pumagi gia pagahu Munga mafalogo Antes dia no pediu por favor finane Kungog para guaho Nasa gururan ni mga matalang kahina somo Zabay ko niya gini magiging no guinay za ako Todo esti na bidahu Sabi utogo esti para hogo Sa hogo iminalago Na nini perfecta para guaho Esti cantamu Utumugi esti para hogo Sengon itu Tenggin jamu Sengon itu Tenggin jamu Tugi esti canta para hogu Sengon itu Esti cantamu.
I believe that to have a more decolonized mindset, firstly, we need to take a step back and be more in touch with ourselves, as people, who we are, where we come from. And once you've zeroed in on yourself and your surroundings and stuff like that, and you take your attention away from social media and, wondering about other people's lives and in return focusing on yours, and it's a step into decolonization of the mind, right? And that'll allow people to open up their idea to decolonization as a whole and how it will benefit Guam and the people of Guam.
Yeah, day. Okay. Ay, day. Hey, Hugo agradece how na sumaw na ho guesti na episode Fanachu na. Sa komentos how na pwede dandan mo, pwede mo platform, hunggan, pwede familia mo na, zani dumangkulo mo. Hunggan, za, yeah, no, hunggan. Zan, mega na tautau lokwi magradesi za, ay day, umatungo amso za nesti Micah Perez, elect niya Micah, that guy so
Yeah, operate niya.
elect niya si Micah, that guy's so handsome.
Hey, you better stop it, my boy.
Lo ya hunggan so benaya pago esti chansa I ultimo na sinengan mo final word. Anything you want to share? If you wanted to talk about un menciona Matlack Motna, if you wanted to talk about Matlack Motna or anything final for your campaign, hogo latman.
Hunggan, po sangani toro samsu gifino tomorrow, za po translate lopi gifino English, para toro mane ko ti man comprendi tomorrow. Hunggan Malik Motna, shout out to Malik Motna, chalu Mike, John, Fraser, Lawrence, and Dan Stone, man. Dan, I know you're still in there. Chalu Matthew, who does the drums. Those guys are doing a lot of cool stuff. So go ahead and follow Malik Motna. Call them up for all of your gig needs. Pues para todos samdu, dan tori Taotao Yigo na mana kung ju. Talon biya ko faisinamdu. Noi ju fanun chansa. Un fanui hamzu. Hajizu. Za officinya utogi. Sinya para utogi. Pari sengsong mami. Sa asina song Yigo tiga mahu ha ti song ho ha para todos hamzo Taotao Yigo talon biya po sangani hamzo hunggang open zo Lo,
Wait.
it's intimidating to may malaki connection.
Songin tatlo ilag mo Hobinzo. Tapos
Oh,
pumar.
okay. Yeah,
So from
hunggan.
Hobinzo.
Utungo ni Hobinzo. Lo, ihinusok ko na dyan, ikurusono para Hami. Po set me po, po tagi, ko best. Po na set me Hamzo. Dyan isang song mommy. If you know English, for everybody else who wants a clearer sense of what I just said there, I know it's intimidating, man, to put someone young in office, but you can't say we haven't done it. And I just want to be allowed the opportunity, to show that, yes, what I do lack in experience with the political field, I do think I can make for in actual service and putting others again before myself, just like how I've done my whole life. All those bigger issues of procurement and all of that stuff, those will come when it comes. But for now, I just would like to earn the trust from the people, and again, ultimately just encourage everyone to utilize their right to vote, their right to write in, and all of that good stuff, man. And again, babakwa man, husan ergadesi ha, todo bidamo, dynasty na podcast. Talon biya man hogi rason pari kantao tomorrow hungan, hungan zoku ni kanta lo, if I didn't have the motivation to write something for the better of my grade, then hey man, who knows where we'd be. And again, I know there's some people out there too. I'll just say this to how can we take this guy seriously? He's a singer and he writes children's books, right? How can he serve the village? But hey man, everybody has their own thing. This is how I started. Music is the foundation of my love for the Chamorro language. That and being raised on the Lansu, man, dude. After this, I still gotta check some cows, man. And even if you allow me to get into the office, I still gotta check the cows, bro. So I know how to prioritize better. And then if I need to relieve the stress, I know how to sing my heart out too. So those things, man, I don't want people to get discouraged about me just because that's he sings a lot and he sings to girls, and hey, ga umpalawan po si Cat Paris. Di fa anta para tori fa malawan talo, Lo yeah, malago po na sangani amzo ni guy gizo para hamzo. Hey man, and everybody else too who's not from Jigo, I hope I can still earn the support. Gwa man atumo mo. I know you all have somebody from Jigo or whatever, Por favor, natuwa jo siya na pofalago para vice mo Jigo. Not here for no bavarias, man. I'm not here to again, like I said, no political agenda, no village hierarchy, just to prioritize Jigo, man. And I know, and then again, I'll end it with this, okay, Spencer? No, I'll end it with this. Utungo na Taotao Yigo, Senbani Dosu, man. Galing mi Corazon Niha. Sagwao Lokpinay, we're from Jigo. We love this village. I know. Lo, Sinyo Liman Kumunandon, Megani Man Lalolu. There's a lot of people out here that are angry. Regardless if there's answers or no answers, they don't want to look at what's going on that's good, because all we see is bad. Lo, what I want to do now is na magov man is spiritual mommy. Just bring the spirit back into the village and allow us to drive home every day from work to a place that we can be proud of to call our home again, Jigo, and not be mamala when we tell our chalus, yeah, about Taotao Yigo too, And for a long time, people were ashamed to be, Taotao Yigo, Lo, I want to bring that back, man. I want to instill that pride back into everybody, and in whatever way that I can, even if it's to my own demise, even if it means my skin's going to get a little darker and I'm going to sweat a little more. Hey, man, gagawin po na set di. Si Diyos masi.
Biba Hogo Mas. Hey, si Diyos masi tatlo Pedro na pudi. Finatok mo para este episode Fanachu. Then si Diyos masi no hamzu todos ni Omega para umekung o este episode este Finakpo Pogo. Adios. Este kiman at lihi tatlo.